Shalom, Yasharallah, giving all praise and glory to the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because he's worthy to be praised, for the Most High is the power, the ultimate power. Who's the power? The Most High is the power, forever and ever and ever. As always, I'm starting with Colossians 3:17, and whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem, Mashiach Yahushua. Give you thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem, Mashiach Yahushua. So all that we say, everything that we do is going to be in the name of the anointed Savior, going to the Most High on our behalf, bringing forth the spiritual power of the Most High and everything that we say and do to this day. So I want to now thank the Most High for everything. He's worthy to be praised for everything, and I thank him for everything. Hallelujah to the Most High. And we're going to Numbers, the 11th chapter. In the law, we're in the wilderness. Check this. And when the people complain, see, a lot of people going to be complaining during the time that we're in now. Prophecy has been going out for year in and year out, about what's happening that we can see happening right now. It's going to escalate. He says it's going to be like a woman in travail, like a woman having a baby. It's going to escalate. So what you going to do when that time comes and you're not ready? You're not ready. People complaining. There's going to be a lot of complainers in the time that the things that's going to go down now. Not in the spirit, out of the spirit. I'm going to read from the, to it says, Numbers 11:1. Soon the people began to complain about their hardship, and the Most High heard everything they said. Then the Most High's anger blazed against them, and he sent a fire to rage among them. And he destroyed some of the people in the outskirts of the camp. He sent a fire to go among them, right? Hold on. He sent this fire to go among them on the outskirts of the camp. And y'all better understand, man, this is serious as serious can be. But I think people are playing around, right? So what he sent was fire, right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes 39 and 28. There be spirits, these are angels. Spirits, angels, same thing, that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. What's the first one he named? Fire. Right? Fire. And it makes sense to me because Hebrews 12:29. Let's go to the New Testament. Since y'all believe, most of y'all Christians believe in the New Testament, y'all better understand, man. And to all Yasharallah, Hebrews 12:29, the first spirit he named was what? Fire, right? Hebrews 12:29, for our power is a consuming fire. The Most High is a consuming fire. And remember, St. John 4:24, the Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him how? In spirit and in truth. So the Most High is a consuming fire. Where did he get that from? The law. Deuteronomy 4:24. Got it from the law. Because there is no New Testament. They only have the law and the prophets when you read the New Testament. Deuteronomy 4:24. For the Most High, thy power, your power, Yasharallah, toward the tribes of Israel, is a consuming fire, even a jealous power, right? So you see, the Most High is fire. So the first spirit that he said he gonna use for vengeance is fire, right? Jump down to verse 31. It says let's keep on reading. There be spirits, Ecclesiastes 39:28. There be spirits or angels that are created for vengeance, which in his fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire. He just said, what did he say? He's going to bring on the Israelites. Fire, wasn't it fire? It was fire to consume them. Come on. I don't think a lot of y'all realize the importance and significance of the Most High first and foremost, and what he's reading about through the Spirit of the Most High about his vengeance. See, we're too caught up in the way this world is and our own reality, which could be little or nothing compared to what the mass majority of information that's within the words between Genesis and Revelation, everything in between of this Bible. Once again, Numbers 11:1. It says, and when the people complain, a lot of people complain. They're complainers. It displeased the Most High. And the Most High heard it. So that's what I say, ain't nothing we doing that ain't heard by the Most High. Understand this. That's why it tells you, Ecclesiasticus 23:19. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men. People care about how somebody look at you. Oh, be quiet. Don't say that. But I got to look a certain way to appease the people of the world. And you call yourself an Israelite. But you got to appease the people of the world. Who gives a damn about the people of the world? 2/3 of our people. You got to appease them. You better be trying to be appeased the Most High and what he say we got to do according to his word, his laws, statutes, commandments. Such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Most High, power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, are 10,000. Hear this? 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts, man. You see everything. He know everything already before it even happened. You see, we sitting around here thinking that we, cause like you say, you just fear the eyes of men, how somebody gonna look at you. And not even think about how the Most High looking at you, doing the things you gotta deal with to please him. Ecclesiastes 17:15, their ways are ever before him. Ecclesiastes 17:15. Their ways are ever before him, and shall not be hid from his eyes. You hear that? Verse 19. Therefore all their works are as the sun before him. One sun, when his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, and even secret parts. And his eyes are continually upon their ways. So he don't miss nothing. Understand this. My power don't miss nothing. That's why going back to Numbers 11:1. Soon the people began to complain about their hardship. And the Most High heard everything they said. Then the Most High's anger blazed against them, and he sent a fire to rage among them. Understand this. Going back to Ecclesiasticus 39. Ecclesiastes 39:28. He sent a fire among them, right? There be spirits, which are angels, that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes in the time of destruction, like he destroying us in Numbers 11:1. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. What are these spirits? What are these angels? Fire and hell and famine and death. All these are created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment. Look where they at. And they shall be ready upon earth. They right here on the earth. Right among us right now. Wherever you are. When need is. Whenever the Most High need them, they're right there. Listen. And when their time is come, when the Most High call upon them to bring forth his consuming fire, they shall not transgress his word. You hear that? They're not going to break the Most High's word from what he's saying. As he say, go do, they're going to do it. So let's go back to the complaining Israelites in the wilderness. Get ready to go to the promised land. Listen, Numbers 11:1. Soon the people began to complain about their hardship. And the Most High heard everything they said. Then the Most High's anger blazed against them, and he sent a fire to rage among them. And he destroyed some of the people in the outskirts of the camp. Then the people screamed to Moses for help. And when he prayed to the Most High, the fire stopped. He was killing them. When Moses prayed to the Most High, the fire stopped. After that, the area was known as Teberah, which means the place of burning, because fire from the Most High had burned among them there. Then the foreign rabble who were traveling with the Israelites began to crave the good things of Egypt. Oh man, I remember in Egypt, man, we had all these good things. And the people of Israel also began to complain. Oh, for some meat. They declaimed, oh, we could have some meat in this wilderness. We remember the fish we used to eat for free in Egypt. And we had all the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic we wanted. But now our appetites are gone. All we ever see is this manna. Remember what it said in verse 1? While they were, so soon the people began to complain about their hardship. They complained about what it is that the Most High brought forth in manna for them to eat. Cold-blooded manna. Look what it say. Numbers 11:4. Then a foreign rabble who were traveling with the Israelites began to crave the good things of Egypt. And the people of Israel also began to complain. Oh, for some meat. Screaming at Moses. They exclaimed, we remember the fish we used. Salakia. We remember the fish we used to eat for free in Egypt. And we had all the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic we wanted. But now our appetites are gone. All we ever see is this manna. Howling and screaming, complaining. The manna looked like small coriander seeds, and it was pale yellow like gum resin. The people would go out and gather it from the ground. They made flour by grinding it with hand mills or pounded it in mortars, you know, like those little round things. You got the little thing you stomp, you pound it like that. Then they boiled it in a pot and made it into flat cakes. These cakes tasted like pastries baked with olive oil. The manna came down on the camp with the dew during the night. Moses heard all the families standing in the doorways of their tents, whining, complaining. And the Most High became extremely angry. Hear this? And the Most High became extremely angry. Moses was also very agitated, or aggravated, which is agitated. And Moses said to the Most High, why are you treating me, your servant, so harshly? Have mercy on me. What did I do to deserve the burden of all these people? Look at what he said. What did I do to deserve the burden of all these people, man? Complainers, always never satisfied. Did I give birth to them? Did I birth them in the world? Did I bring them into the world? He said, why did you tell me to carry them in my arms like a mother carries a nursing baby? How can I carry them to the land you swore to give their ancestors? Where am I supposed to get meat for all these people? Complainers. You want some meat, Moses? You brought us out here to die. They keep whining to me, saying, give me meat to eat. They're screaming at Moses. I can carry all these people by myself. I can't carry all these people by myself. The Most High is far too heavy. The load is too heavy. Salakia. If this is how you intend to treat me, just go ahead and kill me. That's how serious this is. But somebody say, go ahead and kill me. You know Israel getting on his nerve, his last nerve. He said, go ahead and kill me. Do me a favor and spare me this misery. That's how much they were getting on Moses' case. I mean, the people was complaining. Man. Then the Most High said to Moses, gather before me 70 men who are recognized as elders and leaders of Israel. Bring them to the tabernacle to stand there with me. I will come down and talk to you there. I will take some of the spirit that is upon you, and I will put the spirit upon them also. Say, I'm going to take these 70 men, and the spirit that's on Moses, who was the meekest man of the world, the most I dealt with, mouth to mouth. Say, I'm going to put some of Moses' spirit on these 70 men. I will put the spirit upon them also. They will bear the burden of the people along with you. So you will not have to carry it alone. And say to the people, purify yourselves, clean yourself up. For tomorrow you will have meat to eat. You were whining, complaining. And the Most High heard you when you cried. Remember, the Most High, He see everything. He hear everything. Most High heard you when you complained, whining. And the Most High heard you when you cried. Oh, for some meat. We were better off in Egypt. Now we're going to say we were better off in America. Now the Most High will give you meat, and you will have to eat it. And it won't be for just a day or two, or for 5 or 10, or even 20. You will eat it for a whole month until you gag and are sick of it. Every day, he said. For you have rejected the Most High, who is here among you, and you have whined to him, saying, why did we ever leave Egypt? We were in captivity in Egypt. Let me show you. Go to Exodus, the 1st chapter. Let me show you where we were at. I mean, this is showing you how, like, we in captivity right now. Look, Exodus, the 1st chapter. And we're going to get right to the point, because we ruled Egypt for about 4 dynasties. That's why I look at verse 7 and tell you, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty. Hear that? Exceedingly mighty. So to be exceedingly mighty, you got power. And the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. Remember Joseph, our forefather, he went there. He was right under the Pharaoh. And when Pharaoh died, we took over. Well, at least 4 dynasties. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. This is what they want to go back to. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. And so get them up out of the land. See, I mean, we multiplied. We're exceedingly mighty. So he's plotting, to get us out the land. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters going into captivity to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, hard labor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, hard captivity, in mortar and in brick. And in this is what they want to go back to. And in all manner of service in the field, all their service, wherein they made them serve, was with rigor, a hard captivity. See, and we reading about how they want to go back to Egypt because of food. We in captivity, serving. I mean, they made it so hard that they took away all the provisions for us to make bricks. We had to get it ourselves, get it ourselves. They was giving it to us. We had to get up, get it ourselves, and still make the same amount of bricks that we made with them giving us everything that we needed. Now you figure, this is what they want to go back to. That's what I said, our people are destroyed, man. We finished. Back to Numbers 11. Verse 20. You will eat it for a whole month until you gag and are sick of it, for you have rejected the Most High, who is here among you, and you have whined to him, complained to him, saying, why did we ever leave Egypt? That's the condition that we were in. That's where they want to go back to. That's crazy. But that's our people. But Moses responded to the Most High, there are 600,000 foot soldiers here with me, and yet you say, I will give them meat for a whole month? Even if we butchered all our flocks and herds, would that satisfy them? Say, we butchered everything we have. all the meat we have, all the cattle, all the herd that we have, would that satisfy Israel? Even if we caught all the fish in the sea, that's a lot of fish, y'all. Would that be enough? Ain't nothing enough for our people, man. Bunch of whiners and complainers, man. Then the Most High said to Moses, has my arm lost its power? Has my arm lost its power? Now you will see whether or not my word comes true. Moses coming to the Most High like that. He said, hey, have my arm lost its power? You think I don't have the power that I have? We gonna see if my word is not true, he said. So Moses went out and reported the Most High's word to the people. He gathered the 70 elders and stationed them around the tabernacle. And the Most High came down in a cloud and spoke to Moses. Then he gave the 70 elders the same spirit. Now the Most High speaking to Moses through an angel now. He's always speaking to us through angels, which they call the Holy Spirit, holy angels, spirit is angels. You see, Psalms 104 and 4. See, Most High make it his angels, spirits, his ministers of flaming fire. So it says, then he gave the 70 elders the same spirit that was upon Moses, like he said he was going to do. With the 70 elders, he said he was going to give them the same spirit that Moses had. And when the spirit rested upon them, they prophesied. But this never happened again. Two men, Eldad, check this out. Two men, Eldad and Medad, had stayed behind in the camp. They were listed among the elders. So they were elders, but they stayed behind in the camp. But they had not gone out to the tabernacle. They didn't go to the tabernacle, right? But they still were elders. Yet the Spirit rested upon them as well. They didn't go to the tabernacle, but the Spirit rested upon them as well, even though they didn't go to the tabernacle. This is not how we are. So they prophesied there in the camp. They prophesied there in the camp. And a young man ran and reported to Moses. Snitch. Eldad and Medad are prophesying in the camp. Joshua, son of Nun, who had been Moses' assistant since his youth, protested. Moses, why my master, make them stop. Off. Now what my church was saying, remember they came to my church and said, hey man, they casting off devils in thy name. And we forbade them. Like, my church only belonged to them, the 12 disciples. He said, leave them alone, man. If they're not against us, they fall apart. Same thing here. But Moses replied, are you jealous for my sake? Are you jealous of them because they filled with the Spirit that the Most High gave the other 68 elders? Moses said, are you jealous for my sake? I wish that all the Most High's people were prophets and that the Most High would put his Spirit upon them all. You see? Because the Spirit that Moses had was the Spirit of the Most High. You see? So he put the Spirit of the Most High on these other elders, even the two that didn't come. And you got those that say, you jealous for my sake? Like they would tell her, hey, you casting out devils and somebody. What's wrong with that? That's a great thing. We tell them you can't do it because you ain't with our camp, but you ain't rolling with us. What kind of spirit is that, man? Got them same spirits today, man. That's y'all say, leave them alone. If they're not against us, they fall apart. Here it is. It's way back here. Like I say, nothing new under the sun. Moses replied, verse 29, but Moses replied, are you jealous for my sake? I wish that all the Most High people were prophets, and that the Most High would put his Spirit upon them all. Then Moses returned to the camp with the elders of Israel. Here come the quails. So the people went out and caught quail all that day and throughout the night and all the next day. 2, no one gathered less than 50 bushels. They spread the quail all around the camp to dry. But while they were gorging themselves on the meat, while they were eating, gorging themselves on the meat, that's what I tell you, y'all better watch your diet. Better stop being what they call gluttonous or just gotta have food. He said, and while they were gorging themselves on the meat, while it was still in their mouths, the anger of the Most High blazed against the people, and he struck them with a severe plague. What kind of severe plague was that? He already done burned people up. He already done burned people up. Right? You done seen the Most High burn people up. You know that the Most High did it. We amongst it. He coming out amongst us. He's consuming fire. We already know that. You just seen him burn up all these people. You need to quench the fire. Stop burning up people. Now here you gonna complain that, man, we got some kind of mental illnesses. For real, we are ADHD spiritually. Here and even to this day, man. Straight up. Think about it. I mean, not only that, you see what the Most High did to the Egyptians. We in the wilderness. He didn't open up the Red Sea. He didn't put 10 plagues on the Egyptians. They ain't touch us. Then open up the Red Sea when it went across on dry ground. This didn't happen. This didn't already happen. You see, we done seen Pharaoh. We scared to death, crying to the Most High. So he said, don't worry about it. That's why I say you gotta have faith in the Most High. He opened up the Red Sea. Do you believe that? We walked across on dry ground. And as we walking across the Red Sea on dry ground, he closed the sea in on Pharaoh and his army, his mighty men. And poof, they're gone. We seen them on the shoreline dead. All these things we seen and witnessed. Egypt was finished after that. Ain't nobody talk about Egypt after that. What? Talk about Egypt after Moses drowned the Pharaoh and all his mighty men. Ain't no talk about Egypt no more. Understand this. We seen all this here. You know, during the Passover, you could go through all the plagues Moses put upon Egypt to get him a name. And that's why I say it's disrespectful to him to look at what he's done and what he's going to do. But this time, he going to do so much in the marvels of the minds of men that his name going to last forever and ever and ever. He going to scare everybody forever and ever and ever. You think you seeing something? They talk about nuclear war right now. You think you seen something? And whatever they doing, understand this. In the end, my shop say, he say, hey, if he come and the fire's quenched, the fire ain't going to be quenched. He got to come in 1 hour, he going to take care of business all over this whole earth. And he going to make a new earth. Straight up. Listen. Verse 33 of Numbers 11 chapter. But while they were gorging themselves on the meat, while it was still in their mouths, the anger of the Most High blazed against the people, and he struck them with a severe plague. Dang. Messed them up, man. So that place was called Gibroth Hadalaphah, which means graves of gluttony. Hear that? Graves of gluttony. Y'all better stop eating so much. And Most High don't like no gluttons. He don't like those that gotta snibble. Gotta eat. Y'all better stop. Y'all better get some discipline within yourself. It's what it's called, graves of gluttony. Because they buried the people who had craved meat from Egypt. Put them to death, man. Now, we gotta be aware of the tactics that have been done in the past, that looking at the times that we're in right now is no different. Like the Most High said, make sure you understand and also the fact that your conscience can take into an effect reality. Ecclesiastes, go to Ecclesiastes. The first chapter and the 9th verse. It said the thing that have been, we're going to look at something. The thing that have been, that's in the past, is that which shall be. Shall be meaning it's something that's going to happen in the future. And that which is done this time, or is done in the past, is that which shall be done, meaning something that's going to be done in the future. And there is no new thing under the sun. There's no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? it hath been already of old time, which was before us. You see? You say, there is no remembrance of former things. It's like no remembrance of who you were in a prior life. There's no remembrance of former things. Neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. You're not going to remember. You see what I'm saying? But we know that it's saying that there was no new thing under the sun. So when you see, as I'm going to show you, how in warfare, we're going to go back to the time of Judith. And we're going to go to the book of Judith, the 7th chapter. And Holofernes, the general of his army, was getting ready, make an attempt to destroy us, right? So we're going to look at Judith, the 7th chapter. We as the Israelites, I mean. Look at verse 1. The next day, Holofernes commanded all his army and all his people which were come to take his part, that they should remove their camp against Bethulia, to take aforehand the ancients of the hill country, and to make war against the children of Israel. So they were planning to make war against us, we the children of Israel, right? But we had hill, because we had, like in Israel, like hill country where we'd be on the top of the mountain. Like, then the strong men removed their camps in that day, and the army of the men of war was 120,000 footmen and 12,000 horsemen, beside the baggage, and other men that were afoot, among them a very great multitude. And they camped in the valley near unto Bethulia, by the fountain. That's where the water is at. And they spread themselves in breadth over Thaahwam, even to Belmaam, and in length from Bethulia unto Sidamon, which is over against Estrelion. All these different names of these lands, but they're concerned about getting Bethulia. That's the concern. Now the children of Israel, when they saw the multitude of them, this army, this great army, were greatly troubled, and said every one to his neighbor, now will these men lick up the face of the earth, for neither the high mountains, nor the valleys, nor the hills are able to bear their weight. Losing faith in the Most High. Then every man took up his weapons of war, and when they had kindled fires upon their towers, they remained and watched all that night. So they remained ready for war, right? But in the second day, Holofernes brought forth all his horsemen in the sight of the children of Israel, which were in Bethulia. So he brought all his army in the sight of us, the children of Israel, that was in Bethulia, and viewed the passages up to the city, and came to the fountains of their waters, and took them. So where our water was at, he came and took the water. Mind you, can't live without water. And set garrison of men of war over them. So he set these garrisons around our water supply, and set men to be over it, to guard over it. And he himself removed toward his people, right? Listen. Then came unto him all the chief of the children of Esau, the so-called white man, and all the governors of the people of Moab, these indigenous, Chinese, indigenous Esau, Edomites, and the captains of the sea coast, and said, this is what they said to him, Esau and Moab, let our master now hear a word, that there be not an overthrow in thine army. Hear what we can ready to tell you, so that you won't lose a man. You won't lose one man in the army. And you know what? What's kind of sad is the fact that a lot of things that nations know about us is because somebody done told them of our own people. It's cold, man. But this is what they know. He said, this Esau and Moab joined together. Like, when you look at Esau, Moab, and Ammon, you know, if you look at the Amalek, the Jewish people, the Chinese, and the Japanese, also called, had us in captivity for 18 years. So they know about us. This is what it says. Verse 9, of Judith 7th chapter. Let our master now hear a word, that there be not an overthrow in thine army. Say, hear what we're going to tell you, so there won't be an overthrow in your army. Because we ready. We ready with our weapons of war and so forth to fight. For this people of the children of Israel do not trust in their spears, but in the height of the mountains wherein they dwell. We are trusting in the fact that we were on this tall mountains, hill country they call it. You know, we have our weapons of war, but we know that just like Masada, it was way up in a mountain, way up in a high mountain, put it like that, that we lived on top of. It was flat, and we lived on top of it. I climbed it, and we live on top of that mountain. Here, he's letting you know that hill country, same thing. It says, for this people, verse 10, for this people of the children of Israel, speaking of us, the 12 tribes of Israel, do not trust in their spears, but in the height of the mountains wherein they dwell. Now this is a plan so he don't have to lose none of his army. Because it is not easy to come up to the tops of their mountains. See, it ain't an easy thing to get up to the top of the mountains. Now therefore, my master, fight not against them in battle array. Don't go against them with your armies in battle array. He said, and there shall not so much as one man of thy people perish. Remain in thy camp, and keep all the men of thine army, and let thy servants get into their hands the fountain of water. Here he says, let your servants get into their hands the fountain of water, which issues forth of the foot of the mountain, at the bottom of the mountain. We got the water that supplied all the water that we need in our homeland that was living on top of the mountain. For all the inhabitants of Bethulia have their water thence. That's where they have their water. That's where they get their water from, at the bottom of the mountain. So shall thirst kill them. Like I said, you can't live without water. Here he says, so shall thirst kill them. Well, you better have some water. They telling you, they talking about infrastructure of America. They're going to hit the water, the electrical grid, and so forth and so on. But you can't live without no water. This is what they did. Remain in thy camp, verse 12, and keep all the men of thine army, and let thy servants get into their hands the fountains of water, which issueth forth of the foot of the mountain, which is issuing forth at the foot of the mountain. For all the inhabitants of Bethulia have their water thence. That's where they had to get their water from, right there. So shall thirst kill them. So shall thirst kill them. So shall thirst kill them. Now you don't have your water supply if you don't want to. So shall thirst kill them. And they shall give up their city. And we and our people shall go up to the tops of the mountains that are near, and will camp upon them to watch that none go out of the city. So they and their wives and their children shall be consumed with famine. And before the sword come against them, they shall be overthrown in the streets where they dwell, for the lack of water. Thus shalt thou render them an evil reward, because they rebelled and met not thy person peaceably. And these words pleased Holofernes and all his servants, and he appointed to do as they had spoken. So the camp of the children of Ammon, these are the so-called indigenous Japanese, departed. You know, because it just said in verse 8, then came unto him all the chief of the children of Esau, and all the governors of the people of Moab, see, and the captains of the sea coast, and said, talking to him. But you see, like I told you, Esau, Moab, and Ammon had us in captivity for 18 years under the Amalekites, the so-called Jewish people. Esau's grandson, to Eliphaz, Esau's son. So it says, verse 14, so they and their wives and their children shall be consumed with famine, and before the sword come against them, before you can even swing your sword against them, they shall be overthrown in the streets where they dwell. You better understand. Can't live without water. Thus shalt thou render them an evil reward, because they rebelled and met not thy person peaceably. And these words pleased Holofernes and all his servants, and he appointed to do as they had spoken. So the camp of the children of Ammon, now that it involved the Japanese, indigenous, aboriginals, departed. And with them 5,000 of the Assyrians, and they pitched in the valley and took the waters and the fountains of the waters of the children of Israel. Then the children of Esau, the so-called white men, went up with the children of Ammon, so-called Japanese, and camped in the hill country over against Thaahwam. And they sent some of them toward the south and toward the east, over against Ekrabel, which is near unto Chusi. That is upon the brook Moshmer. And the rest of the army of the Assyrians camped in the plain and covered the face of the whole land. And their tents and the carriages were pitched to a very great multitude. Then the children of Israel cried unto the Most High their power, because their heart fainted. For all their enemies had compassed them round about. There was no way to escape out from among them. Thus all the company of Ashur, the Assyrians, remained about them, both their footmen, chariots, and horsemen, 34 days. That's 34 days, so that all their vessels of water failed all the inhabitants of Bethulia, and the cisterns were emptied, and they had not water to drink their field for 1 day. They have enough water for 1 day. Understand this. So they got to go on rations. Listen, they have enough water for 1 day. 34 days they surrounded us. And all the cisterns were emptied, and they had not water to drink their field for 1 day. For they gave them drink by measure. See, you got to have this a little bit. Now, all you got, you see what he just did to the ones that while they was eating, while the quills in their mouth, he killed them. He said, you got to drink this amount. This got to last you. This is all you're going to get a day. Remember, they only had enough water for 1 day. so they had to drink the water by measure. Therefore, their young children were out of heart, went out of their mind. And their women and young men fainted for thirst and fell down in the streets of the city and by the passages of the gates. And there was no longer any strength in them. Gotta have that water. Then all the people assembled to Osias, and to the chief of the city, both young men and women and children, and cried with a loud voice and said before all the elders, the Most High be judged between us and you, for ye have done us great injury, in that ye have not required peace of the children of Ashur, which are Assyrians. And now they blaming them. Like they was blaming Moses. This is our people. They just don't sound the same, complaining. But now we have no helper, but the Most High have sold us into their hands, that we should be thrown down before them with thirst and great destruction. Now therefore call them unto you, and deliver the whole city for a spoil to the people of Holophenes, and to all his army. For it is better for us to be made a spoil unto them, than to die for thirst. But we will be his servants. Look at that. Ain't that the same thing they said in the wilderness? We could have stayed in Egypt where we had all this, the cucumbers and the onions and all these things that we had in Egypt in captivity. Now they talking about, let's go into captivity. Man, that's what they said. But we will be his servants. We're going to be his slaves. That's what I say. Is Israel a homeborn slave, man? Come on. That all souls may live and not see the death of our infants before our eyes, nor our wives, nor our children to die. We take to witness against you the heaven and the earth in our power, and the most high power of our fathers, which punishes us according to our sins and the sins of our fathers, that he do not according as we have said this day. Then there was a great weeping with one considered in the midst of the assembly. They started crying. And they cried unto the Most High power with a loud voice, crying to the Most High. They thirsty as ever. They crying to the Most High with a loud voice. Then said Osias to them, brethren, be of good courage. Let us yet endure 5 days, in the which space the Most High our power may turn his mercy toward us. But he will not forsake us utterly. And if these days pass, the 5 days pass, and there come no help unto us, I will do according to your word. I'm going to give ourselves over to the Assyrians to be their slaves. Come on, man. And he dispersed the people, everyone to their own charge. And they went into the walls and towers of their city, and sent the women and children into their houses. And they were very low brought in the city. Now, at that time, Judith heard thereof, which was the daughter of Merabi, son of Ox, son of Joseph, son of Uzziel, son of Elshia, and so forth and so on. And Manasseh, verse 2, was her husband, or the tribe of and kindred, who died in the barley harvest. So her husband was of the tribe of Manasseh, and he died in the barley harvest. For as he stood overseeing them that bound seeds in the field, the heat came upon his head. He had a sunstroke, and he fell on his bed and died in the city of Bethulia. And they buried him with his fathers in the field between Dothaim and Balaam. So Judith was a widow in her house 3 years and 4 months. And she made her a tent upon the top of her house, and put on sackcloth upon her loins, and wear her widow's garb apparel. So she made a tent on top of her house, and she put on her widow's apparel. And she fasted all the days of her widowhood. 3 years and 4 months. She fasted. Save the ease of the Sabbaths. She didn't fast on the Sabbath every 7 days. And the Sabbaths. on the Sabbath day, and the eves of the new moons, the eve of the new moons, and the new moons, the eve of the new moon coming in, the eve of the new moon, and the new moons, and the feast and solemn days of the house of Israel. The feast days that you can read about in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. She was also of a goodly countenance, meaning she was beautiful, and very beautiful to behold. See? She was a fine lady. And her husband, Manasseh, had left her gold and silver and men servants and maid servants and cattle and lands, and she remained upon them. So she was rich. She had a lot. Her husband left her, with riches. And there was none that gave her an ill word. Nobody spoke ill against Judah. For she feared the Most High greatly. See that? For she feared the Most High greatly. Let me read it to you again. For she, Judah, feared the Most High greatly. Now when she heard the evil words of the people against the governor, that they fainted for lack of water, but Judah had heard all the words that Osiris had spoken unto them, and that he had sworn to deliver the city unto the Assyrians. That's assured, that's the Assyrians. After 5 days, she heard this. Then she sent her waiting women that had the government of all things that she had to call Osiris and Cabris and Charmis and the ancients of the city. Look, jump down to 14. Well, let's read. Let's read on. And they came unto her, and she said unto them, Hear me now, O ye governors of the inhabitants of Bethulia. For your words that ye have spoken before the people this day are not right, touching this oath which ye made and pronounced between the Most High and you. Remember, for she feared the Most High greatly. She telling them, touching this oath which ye have made and pronounced between the Most High and you, and have promised to deliver the city to our enemies. Are you serious? Unless within these days the Most High turn to help you. That's putting some type of orders to them. Who's going to instruct the Most High? Tell him what he got to do, man. And now, who are ye that have tempted the Most High this day? There it is. Instead of the Most High among the children of men, instead of the Most High among the children of men, and now try the Most High Almighty. But ye shall never know anything, for ye cannot find the depth of the, man,